Hello and welcome to Pastoral Ministry 401. Today we're going to discuss the theology of caring for people, or a theology for pastoral ministry. It's both irresponsible and dangerous to attempt pastoral ministry without having a solid theological foundation. The only proper basis for Christian living and pastoral ministry is biblical and theological. Thus, our focus today will be on the theology of caring for people. You should expect to learn the following things. First, the most normative concepts of pastoral ministry. Second, the theology that forms the foundation of pastoral ministry. And then the biblical passages that support the theology. Notice this t-shirt that reads, "Theology matters." And it indeed does matter. The foundation upon which we build our theology for pastoral ministry significantly impacts how we perform that ministry. Before you see a quote from G.K. Chesterton. Perhaps you're curious as to who he was. He was a renowned English writer and thinker, celebrated for his wit in defense of the Christian faith. Known as the Prince of Paradox, he used humor and irony to challenge modern ideas. His influential works include The Everlasting Man and the Father Brown detective stories, offering profound insight into faith and human nature. Chesterton said, and you'll see the quote, "Theology is simply that part of religion that requires brains." You see his wit and his humor? While intelligence is certainly necessary, it's not enough on its own. Pastoral ministry also demands a deep commitment to love and service. The pastor who provides moral leadership, spiritual guidance, and encouragement is the quintessential concept of Christian ministry throughout history. From the time of Jesus, pastoral ministry has been at a universal place and a practice within the Christian church, involving caring for each other, strengthening faith, and ministering to those hurt by life's challenges. Such care should not be motivated by anxiety or dread, but by selfless concern for others, reflecting the goodness and mercy of God in a real-life situation. Human nature often inclines us to view wounded people from a safe distance, avoiding the effect of their lives on us and staying away from them as much as possible. Luke 10:30-35 illustrates this with the story of the Good Samaritan. A man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho is attacked by robbers and left half dead. A priest and a Levite both pass by on the other side, but a Samaritan, upon seeing him, is moved with compassion. He bandages the man's wounds, takes him to an inn, and ensures his care for, even paying for, any additional expenses. Jesus asked, which of these three proved to be a neighbor to the man in need? This story highlights how preoccupation with personal agendas can blind us to the opportunity to help. Consider why you visit a hospital or go see a church member. Is it out of duty, habit, community expectation, or a personal request? Ideally, pastoral and congregational responses should be motivated by God's care for human suffering. Pastoral ministry arises from human need and is sustained through spiritual energy. A caring heart is both a gift and a skill that must be cultivated. As Christ mentioned to Simon Peter, that a ministry such as the one that he was calling him to was to be involved with a ministry of mature love. In John 21:15-17, Jesus asks Peter 3 times if he loves him, and he commands him to tend my sheep or shepherd my sheep, emphasizing the importance of love in pastoral care or pastoral ministry. Pastoral ministry must rest on the solid theological foundations that we will look at. Various fields of theology, biblical, historical, moral, systematic, and practical theology contribute to this foundation. Pastoral theology is a branch of practical theology, focusing on human development from spiritual, moral, and behavioral perspectives. It reflects on the church's caring role within the Christian faith and emphasizes pastoral caregiving tasks. Theology provides criteria for looking at each situation and determining appropriate actions and appropriate attitudes. We derive a theology of care from the life and the work of Jesus Christ. Over the following slides, we will explore the theology of care that Jesus modeled for us. First, let's look at a theology of acceptance. The first theological point is the theology of acceptance. The gospel shows that Jesus accepted a wide variety of people, including outcasts and those with special needs. He reached out to needy individuals regardless of their background or state of need. Examples include the Samaritan woman in John 4, the adulterous woman in John 8, 1 through 11, and the leper in Matthew 8, 1 through 4. These examples from Jesus' ministry illustrate the importance of accepting people as they are. The second point is the theology of availability. Jesus' life and ministry call for disciples to be ready and available to meet people's needs. This is exemplified by John the Baptist in Matthew 14, 1 through 21, Jairus. We find his story in Mark 5, 22 through 43, and Jesus and the children in Mark 10, 13 through 16. Ministering to people, even when it's inconvenient, tests our commitment to being available for our Lord. Being called out at all hours can certainly be inconvenient, but it is an essential part of being available in ministry. Imagine you're almost home after a long day of ministry when you receive a telephone call to make a hospital visit. This situation requires pastoral sacrifice and personal sacrifice, but it is also a test of our commitment to being available for our Lord. Such moments challenge us to prioritize our ministry responsibilities and demonstrate our dedication to serving others, even when it disrupts our personal plans. The third point is the theology of care. Jesus' ministry emphasized thoroughness in caring for others, as seen in Matthew 9, 35 through 36, Luke 15, and John 4, 1 through 26. He addresses needs completely and compassionately. And then there is a theology of sensitivity. It's a crucial type of care, as illustrated in 2 Corinthians 1:4, which teaches us that our own experiences of comfort enables us to comfort others at the point of their greatest need. Jesus' sensitivity is evident in his interactions with Mary Magdalene. We find that in John 12:7, and Peter in John 21:15 through 19. We must refine our skills in both verbal and nonverbal communication to be as sensitive as Jesus. Next is the theology of obedience. This point in theology is to be obedient to the Lord. Without a call to the gospel ministry, the necessary gifts for such a role may be lacking. We need to be assured of our call from God and minister according to His timing and direction. Ephesians 4:11 through 16 discusses the importance of being obedient to God's command. And then there is the theology of witness. The theology of witness focuses on evaluating our effectiveness in witnessing within various contexts, including hospitals, home visitation, communities, and nursing homes. Matthew 28:18 through 20 provides guidance on this subject. And then there's the theology of servanthood. The theology of servanthood highlights the role of service in ministry. Jesus taught that greatness comes through serving others, as seen in Matthew 20:28 and John 13:1 through 17. We are called to serve, following the example of our Lord Jesus Christ. Then there is the theology of love. This is central to Jesus' teaching and his life. In John 3:16 and Luke 10:27, we are shown that love for God and others is fundamental. Love should underpin all caregiving, making our ministry warm and sincere, rather than merely duty-bound. And then there is a theology of confrontation. The theology of confrontation deals with addressing issues appropriately. Jesus' method of confrontation are seen in 1 Corinthians 5:1 through 5 and John 13:21 through 30. Confrontation must be handled with care and extreme sensitivity. Finally, the theology of renewal is crucial for sustaining pastoral ministry. As Neville Kirkwood notes, and I quote, "Genuine pastoral ministry can deplete the physical, emotional, and spiritual resources of caregivers. We need to be much like Jesus himself, who realized he needed restoration." Close quote. The demand of caring for others can be overwhelming, leading to exhaustion and burnout if not managed carefully. Just as Jesus took time to refresh and renew himself, caregivers like you also need periods of restoration to maintain their effectiveness and personal well-being. This process of renewal is crucial to sustaining a compassionate and effective ministry over the long term. Without renewal, caring becomes stressful and burdensome, leading to burnout. Jesus modeled the need for renewal in Mark 1:35 through 38 and Mark 6:31. I encourage you to take time for rest and renewal to maintain your effectiveness in ministry. I challenge you to take a clean day off to relax, not to prepare a sermon. And be sure to take vacation time when you have earned it. You'll be able to make some memories with your family if you do so. The theology of caring for people is foundational to effective pastoral ministry. By embracing the principles of acceptance, availability, thorough care, sensitivity, obedience, witness, servanthood, love, confrontation, and renewal, we align our ministry with the example set by Jesus Christ himself. This approach not only enhances our pastoral work, but also ensures that we are genuinely serving others out of compassion and commitment. As we apply these theological principles, we build a ministry that is both impactful and enduring, grounding in the love and the grace of God. This ends the presentation.